So welcome everyone. So before starting with the topic of today, as the other times, we are giving a short overview of the PINC project, just to know, for you to know what we are working on and why we are having these webinars. So the webinars activity is part of a European project called PINC, which stands for Empowering Preschool Educators, Best Practices and Resources for Inclusion of Children with Behavioral Disabilities. So what is PINC? It's an Erasmus KA2 project. So for those who are not familiar with Erasmus projects, the KA2 action is an action aimed at promoting cooperation among different schools, organizations, or companies, stakeholders of different, coming from different parts of Europe, and to enhance the quality and accessibility of education. So the aim is to create something innovative in the field of education. The project was started last year in October and will finish in 2026. So as you can see, it's a long project lasting 33 months, and there are a lot of activities in the field of this project. I will be sharing these slides as well with you, but here you can also find our website, so the website of PINC Project. So if you wish to be updated and to see all the activities that we are carrying on, of course, you can have a look at it later. In the projects, we are collaborating with other 4 different schools and organizations. So Erasmus Learning Academy, which is the organization where I come from, is the leading organization, meaning the one who wrote the project. And we are collaborating with 3 different schools in Lithuania, Romania, and Estonia. And we are partnering also with our Spanish branch of Erasmus Learning Academy. So these are all the organizations involved in PINC project. The objectives, of course, are related to the education field, as we were saying, and mostly in the field of preschool. So everything that we are creating aims at raising awareness on early age disabilities, both among educators, but also families and parents of the children with the special needs. And the idea is also to share best practices, suggestions, tips among educators to address a bit the issue of disabilities in preschools. The idea is also to create resources and to equip teachers with competencies to be able to implement a bit more inclusive education in our preschool settings. Of course, as any other international project, there is the idea of cooperation. So that's why we are also collaborating with organizations around Europe to a bit cooperate together in the field of inclusion. Our target groups are, of course, all people working with children with disabilities, so preschool teachers, educators, but also any other personnel of preschools and or childhood centers. And also preschool teacher trainers, so trainer working with educators, providing maybe trainings or workshops or any similar activity. And of course, the other target group would be the children. So the main target are the children with behavioral disabilities. The age range would be from 0 to 6 years children, and of course, their families. This is important. Which are the activities that we are carrying out? So the first 2 activities were just concluded in these last months. The first was called the reflection tool, and it was a questionnaire, a form that we submitted in different schools around Europe to understand which is the situation related to the inclusion topic in a different preschool settings. So it was a bit to understand how is the inclusion held in different schools in different countries of Europe. And we collected all the results and we wrote a report that can be found already online on our website. The second activity was the awareness campaign. Basically, it was an online campaign, but also face-to-face events to talk about inclusion a bit more. So we targeted different audiences, and we shared materials related to inclusion on different channels. Also, the materials of the awareness campaign can be found online on our website. Then, of course, the third activity are the webinar themselves. So we are doing that now. So every webinar features a different expert, different educator, psychologist, and so on, coming from different countries. And of course, covering different topics as you have been seeing during the last month. Other activities that we will implement in the future are an open educational resource. Basically, it will be a page online where we will upload materials and resources with effective strategies for inclusion. So there you will find many different resources that can be of help to improve the teaching practices, always related, of course, to inclusion. And the last idea is to create a training course, so a full preschool training course, which will also be held online. And during the course, there will be 5 different modules, each module focusing on a different aspect of inclusion. And we will also create a kit, including all the activities or resources during the training course. So the preschool kit will be a collection, basically, of resources, activities, tools to support educators in creating inclusive environments. So these are a bit all the activities that we aim to implement. So I'm closing a bit this introduction just to let you know what are our aims, our objectives, and what we are working on. So I will leave the words to our today's speakers, Jelena and Dominika. So I will stop sharing my screen and I ask the speakers to share theirs so that we can start. Of course, anytime that you have a question or if you want to intervene in any way, remember that you can raise your hand or also write in the chat because we will be reading the chat as well. So I wish you a nice webinar and I close my microphone.
I'm sorry. Ah, here it is. Here it is. Sorry for the delay.
No
Can you see
problem.
me?
Now it's
Yes,
perfect.
now it's perfect.
Yes. Oh, here it is. So, everyone, you can see the text. Should I enlarge it or not? No.
It's perfect.
We
Yes,
can see.
thank you so much. Yes, so I've been 25 years. I've been working with primary school children, and of that 25, 21 years in special school as an English language teacher. I have we have at our school various uh, children with various special needs. Primarily, we were a school for visually impaired children, but then we got some other children with dyslexia, dysgraphia. We have all kinds of autism syndrome uh, specter, like Asperger's syndrome. We have also children who have some intellectual disabilities in our school, um, even some behavioral problems. And we have Down syndrome pupils as well at our school. And it is it's a reverse, let's say, reverse inclusion with us because we have very few children without any intellectual or special needs because they can't even enroll at our school. This is a public school. So it was a real challenge for me as a teacher who worked in a regular school to continue working with these children, especially because the number of their issues, their problems enlarged at our school. So they have various psychological also problems and other syndromes, and even some of them have for example, we have also blind children, which we didn't used to have before. There was another school in our country for blind children, and so I can go on now here with this one. Just a second. to say, but I can't do anything with my presentation. I'm sorry.
You can just scroll down, I think.
Doesn't want to be scrolled. I'm sorry. Just a second. I'm probably watching at the wrong window. Just to see.
Try to click on your picture and then to scroll.
It asks for some kind of confirmation, but I'm not sure what to. I can't scroll it. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. And just can't scroll this. I probably didn't do something properly. You can, I mean, with
From
buttons.
the PDF, not from the call, but from the PDF.
From PDF, but it didn't actually open PDF. It just didn't open it. If I do it here, you won't see anything. Then can you? No. Just can you do it? Can you see it now? No.
We still see the first page.
On the first page, yes.
Yes.
I can't scroll it in this. I see it here, but I can't scroll it. I don't know what to do. I'm sorry.
If you wish, I can share my screen, the presentation, and I do it.
Can you please do this, because I can't do anything here.
You can close your sharing, so I will do it.
Thank you.
No problem.
I can't find it. I don't see it. Thank you so much.
No problem. So we were here.
Yes, yes. You can go to the green one, the second green one slide. Thank you so much. So obviously we have to have an individual plan for every child at this kind of school, and it has to be coordinated with the standard English curriculum, but adapted to each child. Before we start doing this, we really have to do a good observation of each child. We have to cooperate with our team of people who work at school, like our psychologists, parents, care workers, and other teachers who were teaching the child before it got to older grades. And the most and the most best way for working with these children is to be very flexible, to work on their motivation all the time, and we have to somehow to make a very good and proper preparation for every class. And of course, evaluation and self-evaluation is very important in this process of preparation for the class. We have to juggle very atypical situations while teaching these children, because if you have 5 children in a class, every one of them has a very specific problem or disability. For example, you have in one class you can have a blind child, you can have visually impaired child, you can have child who is intellectually disabled, you can have an autism person or an autism pupil in your class. So everyone is for himself, and that's why we have to do it individually. That individual plan is vital, but you can't do it overnight. You have to observe how does that child behave in a surrounding, in a social environment. Maybe you could please turn another slide on, switch to another slide. The pink one. Thank you. So in learning, this is what I've been telling you, and I will continue explaining why. I am a teacher, but I'm still learning how to approach my pupils, because each and every of them is an individual for himself or herself. And we cannot make a good curriculum for individual plan unless we learn the children's problems and their strengths. We try to do to find whatever a child is able to do, and then we focus on that. We try to motivate him to learn. And in that process of learning English has to be some kind of a game, some kind of a play. They need to play in the classroom. No matter they are either there. I have students from 10 to 15 or even 16 years old. Sometimes they are lost in our system of education and they have to repeat a couple of years, or they appear in our school later. So no matter that they are, let's say, older students for primary schooling, they need a lot of game and everything that will somehow make this process of learning easier. Can you please go to another slide? So we have our topics here are diverse learners. It is really a challenge to do with various learners in one classroom, especially when you have different abilities and some disabilities in learning. And that's why I said observation and planning was vital. So for example, I will give you now an example of these diverse learners. I have one autistic child. In one class, I have one autistic child. But in that class, I also have a form of autism, which is Asperger's syndrome. And I have a child with intellectual disability and with visual impairment. So I have to, for example, this child who has autism, this boy, he is now 14. But since I know him for 4 years, I've been working with him. He has to be calm first. He needs to be prepared for the class, that nothing has disturbed him before the class. And then when we start, he always asks for dinosaurs, either to have a toy or a picture or a visual, some kind of a video material with dinosaurs. And if I want to do anything with him, I have to prepare something with dinosaurs. Now, it has been like that for 4 years. This is his last year of schooling. And now he first asks for dinosaurs, and now he wants for green objects. So it is a green dinosaur, it is a green pear, it's a green pencil, it's a green, he also has a green book. These are flashcards which has to be in front of him. And then he's ready to do anything else. He can answer my questions. We can do some group work or pair work. And this is a very slow process of him accepting to do something else than apart from his interests. But he's motivated to work. And so when we talk about creating and adapting learning surrounding, I can also apply and talk about this specific learner or any other learner with autism, even with Asperger's syndrome, because you have to have let's say, a very simple but creative classroom or surrounding for learning. If you have too many distractions, that process will go somewhere in another direction. So we have to have, you will see later how the seats are and the desks are in the classroom. Remove anything that can draw their attention, but you need to have some, of course, posters and even some toys or blocks for playing. But be very careful, observe how they react, whether they will draw their attention towards something else. And that's why we have to adapt to this learning surrounding. For example, I have also a boy who has visual problems. He has problems with strong light. So I have to put him in a part of the classroom where the light is a bit dimmer because he can't see the textbook. Apart from that, I have to enlarge. We have enlarged textbooks for him for English, and he has to have some kind of a ruler which will guide him through the text. So in that case, I do not insist on the entire text, on working on the entire text or vocabulary. If it is the 7th grade, meaning he's 13, the texts are pretty, it is a level, for example, A+ of English learning. So he has to know a lot of lexis and to apply a lot of grammar, tenses and everything. But it is a very slow process with him because he has to have time to think about it and to tell me whether he sees it at all. We have interactive board. He can't see it on the board because the board is very, light and it's shining and he can't see what it is written on the board. So he usually sits by my computer and then tries to do something on a computer. And even if I do some exercises, who are online, who are on a British Council or Cambridge course, whatever we do during the class, I have to dim the monitor, and this is literally adapting the space for him. Another, for example, situation. I have another, for example, this is totally different example with the autistic girl who has a bit intellectual disabilities, but she's very eloquent. She is verbally strong. She was motivated only by fashion. And we realized that when she got into puberty, she wanted everyone to have nice, clean hairdo, and if it was a she teacher, if she wanted them to be with makeup and to have nice jewelry or something like that. And whenever this didn't happen, she was distracted. She had a problem, and she was out of herself. She couldn't learn. So we just realized that especially I realized when I had to go to her class, I had to have something which will draw her attention. And then she would just talk to me for a couple of minutes. Oh, this is great. You have great earrings. Oh, your hairdo is nice now. And after that, we can do anything she can do. She can follow up a little bit of the text because she could read. And she was pretty verbal for an autistic person. She was pretty verbal, and she could follow, let's say, the basic curriculum. It wasn't an individual plan, but it was a basic curriculum. She could read, she could know she knew present simple tense and so on. This is one example but if some of these things didn't happen, if she didn't like someone's hairdo or someone's look, she refused to cooperate. She couldn't function. Also, we face sometimes, at least in our school, we have children who react to all weather changes. So you have to, if it is raining, they may not be in a mood for working. They will not sleep during the class, but they may just you have to find something to wake them up. You have to use some TPR or whatever you need to wake them up to continue with their activities in the class. Can you go please to the next slide? Diverse learners. So I'm again repeating myself, but you need to focus on what they can do. So this is the key to their motivation. If you praise them, if they do something nicely, they will then continue doing this. Whatever you plan, you can do it. But you have to change activities. You have to start from either looking at the text or watching and listening to an audio material, and then giving them some clues, some flashcards with answers. If they can write and read, then you can put them some vocabulary on the flashcards as well. You can change these activities all the time. You can even do the role play. They like to play whatever they see. If they listen to a song, they like to sing a song or to recite something if they have a nice rhyme to hear. And so always try first to find something they can do, and then do anything else from that ability they have. You can please go to the next slide. Yes, so plan but rethink. Sometimes maybe we think that some of those students have accepted and have learned something from the curriculum and their individual plan. But unfortunately, my experience is that they are very forgettable. They forget things. And you have to repeat them all the time. So repetition is really something you need. So sometimes you need to rethink the plan. Or unfortunately, sometimes their diseases cause that they forget something. We had an unfortunate situation when a child couldn't write as he used to write before in lower grades, but due to his disease and everything, he just couldn't do it anymore. So he couldn't be integrated in another type of school. He had to stay with us because he was verbally very strong, but he couldn't express himself in writing. So the plan has to be entirely changed. And it doesn't mean that we have some goal, right? We have some outcomes which have to be fulfilled, but we have to monitor him all the time. First of all, because he's let's say delicate, and he he's not feeling well. So we mustn't make too strong a plan for him, too many requests for him. It wouldn't be productive. Write your ideas. Well, I write my ideas everywhere, and I suggest you warmly to do the same for any of your students, because we forget things also, especially when you have many multiple problems with students. You just always, you have an idea. If you don't write it down, you will forget about it. So write your ideas, and maybe you can come, if you put it in a diary or in a notebook, you can always go back and see some other ideas for another child, because we don't have a pattern. I can't say, aha, this is my program for this program for autism, or this is my program for dyslexia or dysgraphia. It has to be done individually for every pupil. Also, make realistic goals and recheck them, check them all the time, evaluate how you do things. And my favorite thing is when I have plan A, B, and C, because I have, in my experience, it has to be, I plan something sometimes, but this plan usually doesn't go the way it was planned. So you have to have plan B. For example, they are not willing to do peer work or to do group work, or they are not ready to stand up and do TPR with you. So you have to have plan B, or maybe even C. And the topic, people must learn to walk before they can run. It's pretty clear, I guess, because we have to really see uh, what they can gradually do. What if I want him to write some words, and I find out later because it will be my mistake to find it out later that he's got dyslexia, then my plan isn't working. If he wants to read the entire word or the entire sentence, I have to know whether he understands the letter, the phoneme, because morphology is the next level of it. It happens all the time. We think sometimes, aha, he repeated that, or he copied it from the board, or he copied it from the flashcard, but actually he copied it. He didn't do it he didn't realize what he was writing. It happens all the time with our pupils. They are like literally copying things. And when I ask them to read it or to show me each letter, they don't know how to do it. And that's why sometimes we discover that some children have dyslexia or even dysgraphia. And that's why we have to double check what we do and what we want them, how we want them to learn, what our process of teaching looks like. Okay, can we go to our next one, please? Thank you. So I made a mistake here because people called it multisensory structured learning. It is actually not multisensory structured learning. It is multisensory structured language. Why? Because if you have dyslexia and dysgraphia, you probably all know it if you work with children with special needs. We don't know which letter or which sound can make a problem, or even which syllable. Sometimes they switch syllables, even in English language, which is, I always say it's easier for you to learn English than Serbian or any other, or French, or any other language. Without any, I do not mean to offend anyone with this, but somehow English is pretty easy for all the people with any kind of verbal or problems such as dyslexia, dysgraphia. English is something they can learn. This is my experience. It doesn't mean that I'm right, but the experience in our school that they learn it easier than even their mother tongue. So if we do it with this method, multisensory structured language, we can start from letters, from sounds, and we can make it like a game. For example, I have letter M. Try and give the tasks. Find letter M, circle in the text. Or if you hear M, clap your hands. Or if you know some objects which begin, you help them with letter M, name them or show them if you have some objects on the board or on the desk, wherever you have them. And then it can really be helpful. So they need to see it, they need to hear it, and they need to feel it. So this is what we do. auditory, sensor, and kinesthetic. So it has to be all together for dyslexia and even for dysgraphia. But then again, I say every child is for himself or herself. We have more uh, boys with dyslexia than girls in our school at the moment, and they are slow learners, but they are verbally very, 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 let's say, pretty good, very good verbally. Can you please go to another slide? So don't forget to play. I'm really um, a fan of playing in the classroom. So you have to use everything you have, all the resources. You can play either some board games. You can give them a role play. You can give them, if you have some teams, team planning. Like you have your month's theme is, for example, sport or health. You can always give them something which they can cling on and play about. For example, profession. There was a month of our theme was professions and jobs, and they played with it. They tried to mime. They brought some objects which, and you can include everyone. It is not only. It can be really a teamwork. Everyone can do something in this classroom, no matter their disability is. Can you please go on? So you will see now. You will see how it functions in. So here it is, and I have my experience is to play instrumental music for them. They like to listen to music in the background, and they say it helps them. Even if the child is non-verbal, I can see that it does him well because it calms him and gives him some kind of a, let's say, he feels different and calmed in the English class when we play some music. TPR can be done with all the ages and generations. I do it all the time. So you show something, you say something, you have to show, you have to do some miming, and especially if they sit too much, they can stand up and do it. And in the classroom, go around the classroom and play this. Short activities, that's what I already said. You have to change activities. You have to monitor, to observe how they feel. And when you think they are bored, you just change the activity. That's why we have that preparation, which is very vital. Can you please turn the next slide on? So this is from the textbook. I do an individual plan for a girl. This is not my this is from British Council Learn English Kids. And it is pets. These are pets. So they had topic to choose whichever pet they like, what if they have one, to draw the one they have. If they don't have, to draw what they would like to have. So you can go on the next slide. And this is what this was done by a girl who came late to our school. She is intellectually a bit disabled, but she's verbally fine. She can express her emotions. She can express even she can say, I can't repeat this. She's aware of her abilities and what she can do. And it's very nice that she's not stressed because of her state and her very low performances. She didn't even, I think now maybe she has learned to use Cyrillic or Latin letters. She used only Cyrillic letter because it is in our country the main alphabet we use. So she made some pets here. You can see some pets, and this this is a cage which is covered with a cloth because she heard that birds needs to be covered when they sleep. This is it. It's perfect. Okay, can you go to the next slide? This is our English classroom, and they are all, I always say you are the knights of the round table, although we don't have round, but it is a square. You are knights of the square table, and everyone sits around this in the middle of the classroom. So if we have, for example, 5 students, each student has one desk for himself. If they work in pairs, I then just change their seats and put them together, and nobody feels that they are not in action. Everyone is included. Everyone is here. Everyone is present and can say whether he likes something or not. And stand up. They can stand up and walk around the classroom. and that's it. So this proved to be, I inherited this from my colleague who is now retired, and I'm so thankful that she did this, and she taught me how to make this sitting for the students. Can you please go on to the next slide? Okay, so this is what it is. I learned, and we all learned at school, we have to develop sense of togetherness and friendship. It has to be safe and pleasant there for them, and they have to be accepted and appreciated, no matter how which problem they have. This is what everyone in school tries to do, and we are constantly reminding ourselves to do it this way, because this is the key, to be respected and appreciated, and then everything, and love. This is some kind of love, of course, in the school environment for those children and pupils. Can you please turn to the next slide? Observation and planning. Well, I'm not going to stick much to it, but then again, always go back to observation and check it, double check it. Whatever you do, whatever you see, you have to double check it. Especially my first years at this school were really stressful, because I didn't have enough experience. So I had to observe and I have to plan. And that's why I'm still keeping all these plans, A, B's, and C's, because it's vital for them to have the best possible approach in learning anything, not only in the English language. Okay, can you go on, please? So this is a book for, this is, let's say, curriculum, which is for regular students. Textbook messages too. It is a very good book, but it can be applied to children with other disabilities and needs. Garden Chair Pilot. There is no audio for this text. So I had to, I was, either I call a pupil who can help me to tell the story, or I somehow make an actor and an actress and I do it myself. They adored the story. Everyone liked the story. All the pupils liked the story, even those non-verbal ones. They just liked the photos, and they had to mix. I cut the pictures, and then I tell them to try to make story, to put the story in an order, what they heard and what they saw, to make a story. So they can even improvise and make another story out of these pictures. But of course, tell them that they shouldn't try this at home, because because some of them discovered it was an actual event, that a man tried to fly in a balloon with helium balloons from his yard. So they found out themselves, and then I told them, do not try this at home. So you can go to another one. It is good for vocabulary, for lexis learning. They are motivated to learn all the names of the chairs, different type of chairs, or balloons, or airplanes, whatever they like. They can find something to be motivated to do a bit of different learning, and to do a research. Sometimes they really do a research. Okay, thank you. You can go to a next slide. This is a boy who is blind, who couldn't read Braille, because his tactile abilities were not developed, but he was using computer, and there was a program, Unreader, which he learned successfully, and he's using it now. I presume he's now a student. He likes English very much, and he heard a story. I was playing them a sonnet by William Shakespeare. They heard it, and then a short biography of William Shakespeare. Everyone else could see the video, but he was just listening, and this is what he wrote after having listened this text, which was in addition to the video. I didn't. This is it. This is raw. I didn't need to correct anything. It is short, but this is more than I thought I will get from him, and I'm very proud of him. You can go on. So this is for visually impaired. We have magnifying glasses. We have printing machines. We can enlarge texts. But keep in mind, they don't need too many information. They need less information per class, because they will not be able to either copy it, or to remember it, to memorize it. If I have 10 phrasal verbs, I give them maximum 4, maybe 5, and next time I will do it again if they have learned these ones which we did the previous class. It has to be underlined if they are visually impaired. So if you type, let it be in bold, let it be underlined. They like when I write them, because I make short notes and we write and we put everything, we glue everything in their notebooks. Some of them can't even write anymore. So we will have to switch on probably some programs for blind people, unfortunately. But at the time being, this is very helpful. Either enlarge or write with dark pen with mate background. If anything is shiny, it will very much distract or enable visually impaired to read. Okay, and the next one, this is a boy. You see, he's got many he's a mixed ability child, and he wanted most of all, and that was his biggest wish, is to write in English. So he finally, at the 8th grade, he managed to write the rhyme, which we did, and he was drawing perfectly all the time. He's a bit, of course, you have to give him time to do this. He's got also intellectual disability, but he could read some chunks of words in English, which was a great success for him. I'm also very proud of him because he was motivated. He liked English, but the main motivation, the main fuel was sport. He adored sport, and that's why he wanted to. And he had a lot of material about sport in English, and that's why he managed to do this. This was his partially his school activity, and partially, and he did it himself. No one helped him. This was his he did it by himself. Okay, you can go on, please. Thank you. So this is autism spectrum disorder boy. He's writing. He does not express himself. Even now in high school, he doesn't express himself verbally, almost not at all, unless he says no, and that's all you can get from him. But when he has to draw or write something, he's a real genius. He writes everything. Once a year, he reads a text in the class, but only once a year, when he decides to whether he likes the text. Probably he was motivated by the topic. It was topic about pets. And he didn't have a pet because he was not ready to take care of he couldn't be able to take care of his pet. So mom didn't want to buy him. And then when the topic was likes and dislikes. And it is like a masterpiece for me. I really adore his writing. And then when he read the text, every child was astonished because they didn't even know he could speak. And he was reading a text. That happened only once in one semester, and he was singing a song the next semester, but then they realized he could talk, so it wasn't so much interesting anymore. You can go to the next slide, please. This is also his drawing, his house chores, what he likes to do at home. Vacuum clean, make the bed, lay the he really likes detailed things. Okay. Can we go on, please? It's cute. This is another child who came to our school with a diaper and with the 3 bottles of juices, and I was his teacher in lower grades. This is what he did in 8th grade. He he really changed during his schooling in our school. He started talking. He started writing. He was very motivated in learning English and in working on a computer. He managed to do it all by himself. He wrote me a letter. The letter is bigger, but I didn't want to put it here now. And he always mixed Serbian and English when he was talking and when he was writing. And it was very nice. But I had to be very patient with him. 2 years. He didn't say a word for 2 years. I was just grabbing his bottles and putting them on a shelf, bottles of juices, which he brought to school. Then, the 3rd or the 4th year of his being at our school, he started talking, but he didn't write. And then, in upper grades, when he was 11 years old, he started writing, but he preferred doing it on the computer. So nobody was forcing him. He has an individual plan, which is very, very specific, but very relaxed. We can add something or take out some plans for him. We have, because it depends how he. I don't know. It's probably because of his disorder that dictates how we work with him. So this plan has to be always revised and changed. Can you please go to the next slide? The next slide is also his slide. He is aware of recycling, and he was the one who was putting paper in another basket, in another bin, another trash in another bin. So this is what we managed to do with him. Because we had team recycling and ecology, and it really struck him, and he was really an ecologist at our school. We were very all proud of him. Okay, you can also, this is what he did entirely by himself, this picture and everything on the computer. So instead of conclusion, well, arm yourself with patience and kindness. It will, sometimes their result will be very slow or barely visible, and sometimes you will be just amazed how they have improved, and you will be very proud as their teacher. And you always have to listen to their whatever they need to tell you, verbally or non-verbally. You have to find sometimes a specific way of communication with every child, and then results will appear eventually. Okay, and another one, please. Another slide, please. So it is a teamwork, and I repeat it all the time because I didn't have any experience with these children before, but and even now, even today, I have to ask my colleagues. I have to double check whether I'm right or wrong. I have to try something. I have to give to my colleague to try the same exercise or something to see whether it is working. So even before start, don't take for granted the preparation before you get into the classroom with these children. You really have to know a lot of things about them. I always say I'm a private detective. Because I have to know the limits, what I can do, what will not do any harm to them in any way, because they are very sensitive, and we need to stick on what they can do and what they want to do, and be very, very patient and do it slowly. But of course, you need to have time for yourself to recover yourself, to have let's say some kind of a mental break sometimes for yourself. You need to be good and healthy, so you can work with these kinds of children. Arm yourself with everything you can. This is it. Thank you so much. At the end, you have bibliography, what I was relying on, but there are also some sites. You can find many interesting things on these sites, and I hope I was helpful. I hope I didn't talk too much about this. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you, Dominika. I will share the second part, so it's not finished. We have a second contribution, so I will also share the second part and leave you the floor.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, everything.
Hello, I'm Dominik.
Hello.
It's okay? the presentation?
Yes, we can hear everything.
But I don't go down also.
It's because Susie is sharing the screen, so she, whenever you want to go down, she will do it instead of you.
Okay. I'm Dominik. I don't talk. I don't speak English so well like my colleague. We're working together most 20 years. Also, I'm working in some committee to support the child from different disability or problems from 3 years to 11. I think that is enough for me. Today, okay, thank you. Today, I talk about challenges of inclusion in practice and how to include a child in the group and enable them to learn. That's maybe looking very simple, but I think is not so well. Next. Put him down, okay. I want to tell you some short story. Now I share with you my experience. 1 year ago, I was in one Erasmus seminar with children, group of 20 kids, about 13 years. 15 without development problems and 5 children with different disability. Students brings of the exercise one day and talk them to playing some game Frozen Man. Do you know what is Frozen Man?
I haven't heard of it.
Okay.
No.
Groups of children share two part and one running to playground and touching another and another stopping, must stopping in that moment. Okay. And now I want from you to imagine how each kids feel during this game. How do feel kids with visual impaired when everybody running from the yard? This child going outside of playground because feel unsafely. Here be one autistic child. Autistic child was very upset in this moment. Dysphasic child is be satisfied. Kids with knowledge problem was a little confused. Don't know what do it when and that is good because of rules. And ADHD, you know what is ADHD child? ADHD.
Yeah, ADHD.
Okay, ADHD. It was excited and happy, but hurt 3 child during this game. And children were disappointed and angry after this game. And in second activity, nobody want to be in group with ADHD child. And from this date, we have the problem. That inspired me to speak today on this topic. Next slide, please. When including children with special additional needs in group, it's important to know 2 things: how to include them in the group and how to support the group to function after that. Next slide. How to include children with special needs to the group? First of all, it is necessary to know theory. Do you know do you have some knowledge for that? But we need to meet that particular child. Every child is different in its own social, emotional, physical, cognitive characteristic. Each child is a story for themselves, and after everything, you must make some individual plan for that. Next slide, please. What is important in individual plan? You should include strengths of child, that is be usefully for motivation child, and weakness from child, because you maybe can help him to overcome some problem. I say we must ask why. In the morning, in the start, we ask children what love, when is happy, what they want. And after that, we ask what you don't like when you're scared. After that, you ask why, because you maybe find source of that problem. Maybe you can help him to overcome some afraid, but that is process. Example, I have one child which scared from white toys, and after 2-3 years, we found when they be a little, mommy give him a white rabbit when go to hospital. And after that, they're afraid of any white toy. Maybe some why we must include the opinion of doctors, parents, and relative person. Maybe some sport or activity is forbidden for them or not a good choice. Example, visual impaired child can play basket. Child with epileptic don't go to swim, can go to swim. Or I now have one girl with motorical disability, and they won't be veterinary. That's maybe be problem for profession for her. That cause we must ask another people when you made individual plan. Next slide. General recommendation. What you must do in the start. You need to provide simple surrounding for child. Small groups, 3 to 4 kids. Undermining activities. The child needs to feel safe. For example, one mother bring the daughter from 10 years in the school, and in first meeting ask the child to sing in front of everyone. That's not a good approach. Maybe if child sing together with everyone, but not in the front. Okay, next slide. What is how to support the group to function? All children in the group should receive age-appropriate information. What that means? Children want to know how to expect and how they should react in some situation. For example, in preschool group, I bring a girl with severely deformed face and not understandable speech because of that. And I see the adults have many more prejudices. Children is no function that way. Children come to me and just ask, is that effective? Is simple she interest, is that effective? And she asks, she can repeat the sentence when we don't understand. And when we finish that, everything is be okay with group. Next slide. Introduce the children to the group changes their needs. You can the parents which say my child don't behavior dislike in the house. Why he have this behavior in the school? One stuff is matter. Young children only want to parents love them and care for their needs. But older children have many different needs which they try to fulfill through the peers. Just when be in the house, don't need for different behavior. And is important to enable Y2 communication between the child and the rest of group. Many parents say we don't want to use the stickers or practical or other way writing. We want to our child speaking. But very early, we must start with that to put the child in situation for himself communicate with another child. Next slide, please. What is motivation? Hello. Izgubila sam sve.
Čekaj, se njemu isključao. Is that okay?
Hello.
We hear, we see everything, so whenever you're ready.
Okay, we'll lose you in the moment. What is the motivation? Very important factor for any learning. 1 month ago, to me came the one little girl, and she have some pre-diagnosis, after diagnosis, dyscalculia. And she have 11 years old, and when I test I saw that is not dyscalculia, but when I ask she what happened, she say she don't like number. She don't understand why number exists. And when I bring him 20 bucks and say you can go to buy chocolate, she give that money and going to buy the chocolate. And when back, I ask why you buy 1 chocolate, you have money for 3 chocolate, and she be very disappointed. And believe me, the little child and many times don't understand why coming in the school, why must learning something. You must show them that in function of learning, how that function, how to go somewhere and use that knowledge, how to buy something himself. Okay, for one stuff more is for a child to function well inside the group. They need to be aware of the needs of the other kids, to recognize others' feeling or needs. That is most important stuff when child came in the group. And because the child with any disability or problem be overprotected in family, and everybody look to him and everybody give to him everything, and they don't learn to stop and see what another child wants, what is needs for another people around of them. Link to social games, boarding games, card, is the best way to do this. Or maybe just looking the story, reading the story and looking the film, but we must talk with child when do it that. And next slide. I be short today. With just a little bit of support, I think all kids can become well integrated in the community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really love this last message, but also the whole presentation from both of you ladies. And now it's the time for our Q&A session. So if anyone has any question for both of our amazing speakers, you can feel free to write it down in chat or turn on your microphone and say it. I do have some, but I will wait for you if you want to go on first. Okay, then while we are waiting, I will start with my questions. I actually have two. I would like to start with asking you if you are maybe sometimes inviting or participating together with the kids from the regular schools, or if you're like being inclusive in that way, because according to my experience in various European countries, I was really amazed by how that works, and I would really like to know, especially since if I understood well, some of your kids have severe disadvantages. So if this is working, and if not, why is that the case?
Yes. Well, we cooperate with other schools, especially if they are near us. So we sometimes have some projects which include, but they are different kind of ecology projects. I must say that all these other regular schools accept our pupils in a very nice way, because usually their teachers explain who is coming to visit them, or who comes to or when they come to our school, they also prepare them. We also had our school day in a regular school for a couple of times. It was a cooperation with another school in this municipality where we are, and it was a mixture of program of our children with disabilities and children who were from, let's say, from that regular school. They were playing some instruments. Even they played. They had a small concert together, because in our school we are very lucky to have a musical school for our children. Some of our pupils can attend lower. This is lower musical school. Maybe some go to a high school musical, but for the time being, they are attending primary musical school. This is a cooperation with another school also. So we have nice experience with that. We do.
Više od 60% naše dece ide u redovnu srednju
And
školu.
yes, Dominika says it's important that our kids go, more than 80% of our school children go to regular high schools, meaning with the regular curriculum and program. Sometimes they have to adjust if they have some physical disabilities, they have to adjust to make an individual plan for some subjects, but they can continue studying normally, let's say with a regular, which is unpopular to say, in big groups. The problem is that we are always afraid how will they react to big groups, because we have not more than 7 pupils now in a class. So
mi ih osnažimo za veliku grupu.
we make them stronger. We empower them to go to that other next level of education, which is high school, actually. So this is it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Um,
Then you also answered, because we had one question about that, how many pupils per class do you have? But you also already said that it's 7, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it has, because they are with various disabilities. It's impossible to work with bigger number of pupils. They have to be, because we don't have personal assistants. Teacher is alone doing his job, whether it is biology, chemistry, physics. We don't have any assistants during the curriculum, during our subjects. We have only people like guides who bring them or take them out, and they are not interfering with our syllabus and our curriculum. Every teacher, so if I have these children, there is no one who can help me in the classroom, or maths teacher. He has to be prepared and skilled and educated additionally to work with children with special needs. This is why we are unique. Our school is unique in that way.
Then before we move on, we have some other questions here. I would just like to also ask, since you're having just a few kids, and you told us that each of them are requiring different environment, different needs, some of them dinosaurs, some of them different lighting and stuff like that. So if they're not getting along according to that environment, how do you solve those issues, having in mind that you're all alone over there?
Well, we have sensory room. We have some other places where we can just take them out for a couple of minutes. This is why these guides are here. If a child has a guide who takes them, we call them and they just take them out, or they make time out, and then usually the child returns to the class. They can even sit somewhere else. They can sit on a lazy bag or somewhere, or if it is really disturbed, we have to take them out, because sometimes you cannot predict. A very simple, unexpected thing can cause nervousness. For example, the sound from the street sometimes make them fuzzy and confused.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, first we go with Isabel. It's more admiration. So I want to thank both speakers for your interventions. I really appreciated the way you also shared your personal experiences with real examples of working with children with special needs.
Thank you so
Isa.
much for having us.
Bye.
Okay, we also have a question from Teria. How it is possible to teach a child with special needs in a foreign language? It seems to her that this is a big problem in Estonia. And for example, she said that it is pointed out the way that it is very difficult for the first grade children. Is it true, according to your experience, that you're finding troubles with first grade children?
So did she ask us, both of us?
Yes, it's a question from...
Autistična deca vrlo često čak bolje govore engleski nego...
It is very, very interesting, but true, and we have experience with it.
Yes, we have experience about 100 autistic child, and statistics say 20% of them
they think in English.
Better speak English than Serbian.
Yeah, they like to express themselves in English. Now we have 4 or 7 pupils at this moment, from 10 to 16 years old, autistic children who speak more in English than in Serbian, and some of them, some colleagues didn't know that those children could speak. But I tell them, well, try speaking and talking to them in English. Maybe it will be better, and sometimes it is helpful.
Yes, maybe that is something physically, because the first language which we learn going in one part of hemisphere in the brain, one part of the brain, second language going in the second part. Because of that, maybe is a better function is in second part, and that cause they don't have problem with speak English, but have problem in the first language.
Even in writing, which is amazing.
Yes,
I don't
even
know
in
how.
writing, yeah.
It's a mystery.
But we saw that. We don't
Yeah.
know how, but that exists.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Terry also says thank you. Another question that we have is, according to your experience, how important is physical activity? You already said that you have some lazy bags and rooms for the kids who are having trouble following. But I also I heard from, especially from teachers from Nordic countries, that they have some sort of like bicycle below the benches, so they're also able to constantly have some sort of movement. Or you said that they also standing up and stuff like that. So how important, according to your experience, is physical activity?
It is very important, provided the child can do it. If the child can do any physical activity, we do it at school. They have physical education, and they have separate some kind of exercises, corrective exercises. But also we have ability to send them to swimming pool in this municipality. It is free for them,
yes,
right? It is free for them, and
football,
chess, dancing even, but provided that their health isn't endangered. So if they can do it, if they have to have some kind of a doctor's, let's say, approval that they can do something, because they have to be on an individual plan if they can't do something, because
according to their condition and abilities.
And they are integrated with children from regular school population when they go to those activities outside school. It is very good for them. It is very good.
But that is for free for them.
Yeah. It's a municipality or some other project, Red Cross. Red Cross also does that, and it's very.
And about the previous question, Jelena Zakharova, she's also adding that to her it seems that in Estonia, children with special needs learn English very well, as you mentioned, and they're very skilled at some. Actually choose to speak English as the first language. Yeah, that's very interesting. According to you, why do you think that this is the case? Why would they choose to go first with the English? Because I guess with the parents, they're speaking their native language, and with everybody in their environment.
It is actually neurologic issue, because it's easier for their brain. It's another part of the brain that functions for languages, and namely English is the language which is pretty, let's say, structured easily for those. If we are right-handed, then it goes to the left hemisphere and the other way around. So there is some process neurological that helps them. They just do it as if it is their mother tongue, and they are bilingual. Then they are really like they are bilingual, although they have never been anywhere abroad, nor. Although I must say that the influence of digital media and everything helps them improve their English language. And it is everywhere around them, and they know how to use it. Computers, phones, tablets, whatever they have in front of them. And one hemisphere functions most likely better than the other one. And of course, as Dominika says, third language is the problem.
Never must be exposed to third language. So that's be a problem then.
and sometimes we have to, because the syllabus is like that we have to include the second language, I mean the third, because you have mother tongue and the first language and the second, and if you give it to them, it is total confusion usually.
Oh yeah, yeah. And just to confirm, now we're talking about the kids with cognitive disabilities, right?
Well,
Intellectual disabilities.
Everyone learns English.
autistic,
Autistic, intellectually
mental
disabled,
intellectus, everyone.
everything. Dyslexia, dysgraphia, all kinds of syndromes, Asperger's syndrome. They are
Even
perfect.
including those kids that you mentioned that are blind.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. They are.
Okay.
It depends, of course. If it is intellectually disabled, then it is a bit difficult. But it doesn't mean that he or she will have problem with English learning.
I see. Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Anyone? Jelena is thanking both of you. Okay, and if we do not have any other questions, first I would like to again thank both of our amazing speakers. So thank you for your time, thank you for your effort and preparation.
Thank you for listening to us.
It was very, very helpful to have you and to hear about your experience about the topic. What I would also like to do is to ask all of you, it would really mean a lot to us and to our project if you can fill the evaluation form that I'm just about to send in our chat. So you can do it right now or after we close the meeting. Otherwise, I would also like to thank everybody else who participated, who listened, and who contributed to this whole meeting and to the